Hi, I'm Stephen Levy and I'm the Managing Director of Heat Outdoors. Today we're going to talk about the Shadow XT heater. The Shadow XT is the world's most advanced shortwave infrared heater, and I'm going to explain to you exactly why. So let's have a look at the Shadow range. Firstly, the colours. You've got anodised aluminium, white aluminium, black aluminium. In terms of sizes, we've now got 4 different variations in the power output of the units. So these single units have got 1.5 or 2 kilowatt lamps in them. The double units have got the same 1.5 or 2 kilowatt lamps, which means they're either a 3 kilowatt or a 4 kilowatt unit. Okay. The first and most noteworthy thing of all the Shadow ranges, that includes the standard Shadow and the XTs, is they've got the latest design of ultra-low glare lamps in them. Ultra-low glare technology is something that all heater manufacturers now are aspiring to. It was actually developed by our manufacturers and is simply a coating put on the outside of a standard lamp, which reduces the light output but doesn't affect the heat output of the lamp itself. So you can expect from this type of heater to get the same amount of heat but 95% less light. And what that means in a normal setting is, instead of turning the whole area bright red in the evenings when you're sitting having a quiet cup of coffee or a glass of wine outside, you can rely on your normal light or your ambient lighting to give you the right atmosphere and mood, and the heater is doing what the heater's meant to do, and that's keeping you warm. Again, as with all heaters in the Shadow range, we have our easy fit lamps. This is again completely unique to Shadow heaters. It means that we can take a lamp out of a unit like this in a matter of a couple of minutes, swap in a new one. On a standard heater, you're looking at half an hour of an engineer or electrician coming along, removing it from the wall and stripping it down to its component parts. With a Shadow heater, virtually anybody can do it. It takes 5 or 10 minutes and you can do it with a heater left in situ. Apart from the Shadow's remarkable heat output, it's the most controllable heater you've ever come across. First of all, with these buttons on the side, we can simply turn it on. So if I press the button once, the heater will come on, and it'll soon switch into full power mode. By pressing the button on the side, I can change the heat setting. At the moment we're on maximum. One press, we're down to 60%, one more, we're down to 30%. Alternatively, every Shadow XT heater comes with a remote control. It's a very simple device, simply press on, and the heater will come on, and after a very short warm-up period, it comes on to full power. We can now adjust the power setting from the controls here, onto maximum, or downwards. The Shadow XT is the only heater in the world that has its own Bluetooth app. Now this means that from an iPhone or an iPad you can control not just this one heater, but as many heaters as you want. You can control them individually, so you can turn them up and down as you wish, on and off as you wish. It even has a timer control, so if you wanted to, you could set a heater for say 20 minutes, and after that period of time it'll turn itself off. So taking a closer look here, the green switch means the heater is turned on, but clearly if you see heat in the background, it's not on yet. If I touch the red part of the screen here, it now allows me, just by moving my thumb around the screen, to set the amount of power on the heater. So if I move it up here to 51%, the heater's on half power. If I move my finger up, on and on, we're up to 100%. And I can do this for every heater that's connected up. So we've talked about the way the heater can be controlled, but what makes the XT so special is the way it generates heat. So let's take a closer look inside the unit. Inside the Shadow heater is a parabolic reflector. Now that's a really special component, and it's not something you can easily see. But if you look from the right angle at the front here, it looks like there's multiple heaters going on. You can't just see the one bar, you can see a whole series. And the special thing about a parabola is whatever angle the light hits it from behind, it'll always come out forwards. And that means that you get a really even spread of heat. The majority of heaters on the market don't have any kind of reflector at all. They actually just rely on the metal of the back of the unit to push the heat out. And what that means is, A, you're not maximising it like you would with a really, really shiny surface. And B, the heat comes out in terms you get a really, really concentrated area of heat, and then maybe at this angle you get no heat at all, and then maybe pointing up towards the sky you get another really concentrated beam. So a parabolic reflector is really important to give you a balanced amount of heat, and then to have a really, really shiny surface like a mirror is essential to really pump it out. If I just draw your attention to this heater here, you can see what I mean about having a polished reflector. It really is important. Okay, so now the technical stuff about why the XT heater is so powerful. If you look at heaters in general and how they're manufactured, there's a massive difference which you don't see from just looking at it. Now when we take the cheaper units, what they do is they have a piece of metal that sits at the back of the unit. The metal is shaped something like this and they stick a lamp in it. There's no technical design behind that, so the light from this lamp goes up here and is reflected in all different directions. And what tends to happen then is if you look at where the light is going, where the heat is going at this end, you'll find there'll be a section here where it's really powerful, and perhaps a section here where it's really powerful, and then other areas in the middle here where there's virtually no heat at all. With a standard shadow heater, we use a shape called a parabolic reflector. Now that's a shape that's something like this. It's actually a mathematical curve, and it is designed in such a way to give you a really balanced amount of light coming out across the entire angle. What makes the Shadow XT heater so unique is it has a double parabolic reflector. Now what that means is, not only is it made of superb, high-grade, shiny material, but the actual shape of it goes something like this. Now the lamp sits here within the reflector, but when you look at it from the front, it appears to have another 2 lamps in it. It looked like it had 3 lamps there. Now with the heat generated from these 3 different sources, it means that when you're looking at the direction of the heat, it's coming out, for example, like this, and you're getting a much, much greater than arc and coverage of heat that's going out. With it coming from these 3 different light sources, it also means that the heat is coming out in a much more balanced way. So instead of getting a hot spot in one particular area, you get a nice even throw of heat over a much, much greater distance than any other heater. It's a remarkable piece of kit, and it's uniquely designed to give maximum heat and maximum coverage. So come back out here, let's look at the unit that's turned on. It's on a low setting, but you can clearly see the 3 lamps in there, which is made by that double parabolic reflector. It's throwing out a ton of heat, even at this low setting. I'm getting pretty warm. The Shadow XT is a perfect heater for any residential or commercial setting, but clearly in the commercial world, it's very, very advanced and ahead of anything else on the marketplace. One other thing worth noting on the XT heater is that it can be mounted very, very easily on a pole. And now, in order to make this safe, built inside the circuitry here is an automatic cut-off, so that if the unit moves at all or gets knocked over, it automatically cuts off the power supply. All the Shadow range are IPX5. Now that's a really important number, that 5 on the end. It means that they are rated for outdoor use. An electrician is only allowed to mount something outdoors if it has an IP rating of 4 or above. Most heaters have an IP rating of 4. The Shadow range have an IP rating of 5. And that means not only are they shower proof, but they're actually protected from water coming in from all directions. So if you have them in a particularly wet environment, water can even be coming upwards or from a hose pipe when it's turned on. You'll find the heaters are absolutely fine, no damage at all. Right, so much to our film producer's dismay, I'm now going to attempt to demonstrate quite how waterproof these heaters are. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn this up to maximum heat. I'll talk to you for a few seconds whilst it's generating that heat and making sure we're at full glare. Now I have here water, it's perfectly normal water. If someone substitutes it with alcohol, I'm in problems. And I can put it straight onto the lamp there, and you'll see it does no damage at all. You can do this with a hose pipe. It's quite remarkable. And that is because we're using a really, really specialist quartz glass. With normal glass, of course, the heat from the glass, and then putting water on it, it'll shatter. But with these units, nothing like that's going to happen. It's completely waterproof all over. You can't damage it. Leave it out in the snow, turn it on in the snow. So let's just summarise. We've got Bluetooth. We've got full remote control. We've got switching on the unit itself. We've got IPX5, which is the highest of the waterproof ratings. We've got an easy lamp system, so you can change the lamp without having to remove the heater from the wall. We've got a double parabolic reflector on it. It truly is the best in its class. Hi, I'm Stephen Levy and I'm the Managing Director of Heat Outdoors. Today we're going to talk about the Shadow XT heater. The Shadow XT is the world's most advanced shortwave infrared heater, and I'm going to explain to you exactly why. So let's have a look at the Shadow range. Firstly, the colours. You've got anodised aluminium, white aluminium, black aluminium. In terms of sizes, we've now got 4 different variations in the power output of the units. So these single units have got 1.5 or 2 kilowatt lamps in them. The double units have got the same 1.5 or 2 kilowatt lamps, which means they're either a 3 kilowatt or a 4 kilowatt unit. Okay. The first and most noteworthy thing of all the Shadow ranges, that includes the standard Shadow and the XTs, is they've got the latest design of